Something exciting is coming. Can you feel it? It's almost time for a new chapter to begin. Are you ready? This is the Inspired Journey podcast, a mother and daughter growing across generations, having honest conversations about life, faith, and rising into who we're meant to be. Let's dive into today's conversation.
Hello, and welcome back to the Inspired Journey podcast. I'm your host, Cachet, and this is my mom and my co-host, Karen. And today we are talking about confidence. So, to start off, the dictionary says that confidence is the feeling or belief or trust that a person or thing that is reliable. So, Mom, what do you say from a coaching aspect about confidence?
What did you say the dictionary said? Because that was very unclear.
The feeling of belief or trust that a person or thing that is reliable.
Okay, I don't know what that means. I would have to literally get an organization chart there.
It was kind of confusing writing it down.
Um, you know what? So confidence is one of those things that's really, I feel, overused. We expect confidence out of ourselves. Like, go do something, Cachet. I mean, I know how to do it. You should be able to do it. But then, I've got 20 years on you. So I probably do feel confident to do it. And so I feel like confidence is definitely over expected out of people and it builds pressure.
Mhm.
And being an entrepreneur, trust me, it's pressure that I put on myself. And I think most entrepreneurs would also say that. So the question is, what is confidence? It probably is what the dictionary said it is. But you know what? Confidence is something that does feel good. It really feels good to feel confidence. So this is an interesting thing. We have negative emotion and positive emotion. And if confidence is the positive emotion, how do you know that that's positive? You know it because you have experienced negative.
Yeah, and so your brain's like, "Oh, this is good. So this must be confidence."
Yeah. So I really would like to talk about what happens before confidence. There's a book, it's somewhere around here. It's 10x is
Better than 2x.
10x is better than 2x. And it's by Dr. Benjamin Hardy and
Dan Sullivan.
Dan Sullivan. And he talks about the 4 C's, and I'm going to talk about 2 of the C's. And this is something that my coach really drilled into me because it's about commitment and courage beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to let you dive into that of what actually, your commitment and stuff. But you know what? When we want to accomplish something, we should just automatically know how to do it and just be confident and do it. Excuse me. No, we don't.
Yeah.
We have to have courage to do something that is uncomfortable. So courage doesn't feel good,
Yeah.
and neither does commitment, because commitment gives us,
Rules.
yeah,
In some people's brains, if you don't have a good relationship with commitment, it's the rules, which brings pressure, which brings down, I guess, your mental relationship with just commitment in general.
yeah, that's true. That's very true. And so therefore, we want commitment to be something that you can actually commit to, because Google it, SMART goals, small, sustainable, and amount of time and all that kind of stuff. Um, but I just want people to hear the message that quit feeling like you have to have confidence. You know what? We are in a feel good society. And so we demand all this confidence and just go out and do it. Well, you know what? I'm going to tell a story here because I always remember things in stories.
Yeah.
I am 18 and a half years old, and I got in the van with my oldest brother, Conrad, and I took off from my hometown out in the Pacific Northwest and moved across the country. And
That's a lot.
that was a lot, okay? But I'm cool and I got this, right? many years later, someone was saying, Karen, I don't know how you did it. I don't know how you did it because you are so confident to just go and move 3,000 miles away from home and all that stuff. And then I was much older and a little wiser at that time and not quite so proud. And I said, do you have any idea how bad my stomach hurt
Yeah.
doing okay, so in hindsight, everything's 2020. And I was committed to making the move and helping my brother start the business. And I had the courage. Apparently, I had it the size of Mount Hood because I don't know if I could do it again.
Yeah.
Okay, of course I could because I've
Yeah.
driven across the country probably, I don't know, 6 times at least.
A lot.
And you see, back then, it's like I was committed and I had courage. And now I'm confident, in moving.
Yeah.
But and that's just where it's like I want you can appear courageous, but it's okay to say, you know what? I'm scared out of my wits. I have no idea how this is going to be, how this is going to turn out.
Yeah.
And so take the pressure off yourself and just know that confidence feels good and that everything doesn't have to feel good either. And it's
Yeah.
not going to feel good because that is the other thing. And I don't even know if this is a related topic, but we are scared of uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
We're scared of negative emotions.
Mm-hmm.
But why do we need negative emotions? Because if we don't know what feels bad, how are we going to know what feels good?
That's very true.
So, my message is let's start some commitment and courage and then let confidence come.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of my take on what I think of confidence.
Yeah.
Just wait for it to come. In the
Yeah.
meantime, just get courageous and get really committed.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest thing, and that's the hardest thing. We have a thing in coaching we always say is that it's the start that stops us.
Yeah. And the starting line's scary. If you just got on and going, then everything
Yeah.
else falls into place.
Okay, so then let's talk about the gap in the gain. Same author, okay? Totally love the books. That start is what stops us because when you look to the horizon, it's always moving.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we are always looking at to where we need to go, whether it's losing that 100 pounds, starting that business, having a better relationship with your kids, your spouse, whatever it is, all we do is we keep looking at that horizon. You're never going to see how far you've come
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you don't enjoy the journey along the way because all you do is see the finish line. You don't see all the little steps and the hills and ups and downs that you've gone through.
because it's the journey too that shapes us and forms us to that horizon that God has in place for us. So don't let the start stop you. Just look for commitment and courage right now and just know that confidence will be coming. Um, it's like you go to the gym or whatever you do, you come out here and do push-ups with us. We're building muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Every push-up, every rep in the weight is going to make us stronger. It's the same with the brain because we have old ways and old programmed ways. We have to put the reps in the brain too.
Yeah.
So I was just coached on it this morning that when things get hard, we instantly go back to programming of
Yeah.
how we used to be. And so the new ways feel still foreign. And I need to get more reps in my brain to know that in the harder times, I can still operate from peace.
Yeah.
So that's my take on courage.
Yeah. So you mentioned commitment and courage. And I'm going to talk about capacity, which is the third C. But so when you're starting off your journey, it helps grow your confidence. There's commitment, courage, capacity, which then leads to confidence. So at the beginning of last month, end of last month, I decided there's going to be a whole list of things in March that I'm going to do and I'm going to get done. So I said sauna every night when the sauna is on, 100 ounces of water, only one coffee a week or coffee a day, or 2 shots of espresso, whatever, and taking my supplements and then running. So this month, I was like, in the first 2 weeks, I had everything going good. And then Mom ended up having to have an emergency plan to Washington, which didn't affect it too much, but I kept on track of everything. And then the running, slowly, it just pedaled off. I'm just like, well, shoot. And then I was so mad because I'm just like, I could have easily gone and done that just now, but I was working on other stuff that wasn't as important. But my brain's just like, okay, you're already failing, so what are you gonna do? I was like, well, I lost one thing, so why even try with the rest? But like mom's been talking about a lot recently, sorry, is habit stacking. So I was like, you know what? I've taken a sauna every night it's on, do exercises in there. I've drank my 100 ounces of water every day. Even when I'm working, I come home, drink a bunch of water. But like, I was like, the running failed off. So I failed on my march. It's like, no, I didn't. I started building all those different little habits. It's like, so next month I can add on to the running. And I was like, and it's just like even taking my younger brother, that helps a lot. But just over capacitating yourself and over committing that's not going to help you. You need to figure out what you can actually do and have smart goals like mom mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and the capacity, and you know what, I get very, we discussed this word earlier, capacitated or
Capacitated.
something, we do commit to too much. You guys, we're humans, okay? And as a coach, I was also talking about this morning, when we were coaching, that it's so easy as a coach to feel like, okay, I shouldn't have negative thoughts. I should be out of the gap. I should know that the horizon moves. And you know what? I do know that, but sometimes when you're in that messy middle and you're trying to get your health on track, trying to start the business, trying to finish the homeschool year, we overcommit, we get overcapacitized, and then of course when we start saying I should, then we bring shame.
Mm-hmm.
And that also then just puts the brain in the hamster wheel where we chase thoughts that don't really serve us well.
Yeah, and it's really sad is when you feel like you need to get all these things done and then you feel like you failed and that doesn't help your own while you're building your own self-trust because if you can't
Mm,
trust yourself, you'll never have that confidence and you'll also never feel that courage to get going because you're like, I'm just gonna fail again.
mhm. And that's a thought.
It is a thought.
Yeah, because I mean, and that's why we are careful in coaching of how we ask ourselves questions. Because you say, I'm a failure, your brain's gonna go, oh yeah, you are, because this, and this. That's why you shouldn't start. So that's where we want to ask ourselves to get our brain in curiosity mode, because you can almost feel a switch flip in your brain. I failed.
Hmm.
Or how can I actually get this ship moving?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like let's get moving. And
Yeah.
so and then your brain starts going, well, we could drink water, we can set a time limit for the kids to do school, we can set block hours, and your brain just starts getting in all these resources.
Yeah.
And then when we follow through on those resources, we start to build evidence that we can do this.
Yeah.
And that is confidence.
That is confidence. So for starting off, I would say definitely figure out what is actually committable,
Attainable.
attainable, whatever the word. It's one of those words, but yes,
Hmm.
attainable would be correct. But yes, is there is don't overcommit, don't stretch your capacity to more than it's meant to be. It's obviously the Lord will be there to help you and to push yourself through mental blocks, mental boundaries,
Mhm.
but you need to do also what is within so you don't go through burnout
Mhm.
because burnout does not help you at all. And I guess I can't say I have too much experience with that. I am young. I don't
You watched me.
I watched mom and that's not fun for her. It's not good for her health, her nervous system. So I don't want anyone else to go through that. It's just like, so
Mhm.
don't overcommit. Don't fill your capacity to way too full.
Yep.
And I feel like that is one way to start on your journey to confidence and on your journey through even just commitment is helping through that by not going so mental
Yeah.
or
So in
Something, but
summary is what I would say is that really just commit, don't overcommit, and keep within your capacity and do the reps. Do the reps and confidence will come. So take the pressure off yourself. Pressure is just nothing but driving your nervous system to a place that you don't want it to go.
yeah,
If you want to find out where it goes, message me personally on Instagram and I can tell you.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, anyways, there's mom for you. She helps my wheel spinning, wording, and makes it into a very beautiful statement right there. But yeah. So, do you have any other thoughts or experiences you want to share on confidence?
you know what? I think I've already said it, but you know what? As parents, we almost demand confidence from our kids. As employers, we demand um, confidence, I want to say, out of our employees.
Hmm.
And just because you've gone to the school of hard knocks does not mean that everybody else lives like that.
Yeah,
So let's bring grace and compassion and a teaching spirit
yeah,
and just really encourage people to have courage
yeah, and give them
and
grace to accept them where they're at.
yes, and explain capacity to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, just take the pressure off because pressure is just not good in
Yeah.
anything. So that's pretty much what I say.
Yeah, so there we go. That is confidence from us too. All right, anyone, that will be the end of today's podcast. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us on the Inspired Journey podcast. If this conversation has resonated with you, we'd be so grateful if you shared it with a friend or on your social media. That's how we keep these conversations growing. We'll see you next time as we keep rising and growing, perfectly imperfect.